This clip has movie spoilers. To watch the full film, skip this. 18 plus advised. Children, pregnant women, elderly with heart issues, need supervision. Alone, hug a pillow, with someone, hold them tight. Enjoy watching and listening. Thanks. The story opens on a midnight where a grandmother is performing a ceremony related to red envelopes, based on the Chinese tradition of marrying a ghost. This occurs when a family member dies before getting married, and the family places red envelopes containing money or gifts on the road. If someone picks up the envelope, that person must perform a wedding ceremony with the spirit of the deceased. If they do not comply, they will face various misfortunes. The scene cuts to a bar where the handsome police officer, Wu Minghan, is seducing and tricking a gay man who is reported to be in possession of illegal items. However, Wu Minghan's arrest was excessively violent due to his negative attitude towards same-sex relationships. The next day, he encounters Lin Shiqing, a beautiful female police officer who works with him and often gets teased. She approaches Wu Minghan to inform him that she heard from the gang that someone complained about his excessive use of force against the gay man the previous day, suggesting that he is homophobic. Shortly after, a superior officer tells Wu Minghan that he might face consequences for his actions. At that moment, a report comes in about a former drug dealer who is on the run. Upon hearing this, Wu Minghan quickly drives off with Lin Shiqing to chase the suspect. The car chase is chaotic, with the suspect throwing evidence out of the window while fleeing. To make matters worse, Wu Minghan's car gets stuck on the roadside. Seeing this, Lin Shiqing tells him to retrieve the evidence that the suspect discarded while she runs after the fleeing suspect. Finally, Lin Shiqing manages to apprehend the suspect. While Wu Minghan walks along collecting the discarded evidence, he grumbles in frustration, wondering why, as a real man, he has to pick up the evidence instead of chasing the suspect. As he continues to gather items, he comes across a red envelope. When he empties its contents, he finds a strand of red thread, along with money and some strange items inside. At that moment, the grandmother who performed the ceremony at the beginning of the story appears and points at him, signaling for the people around to come and celebrate with her. When Wu Minghan saw this, he identified himself as a police officer and stated that he was just collecting evidence before placing the red envelope back on the ground. At that moment, he noticed a photograph inside the envelope, which was of a man. Upon seeing this, Wu Minghan felt furious, realizing that he might be marrying a male ghost, as he was already aware of the tradition of ghost marriages and the consequences of picking up a red envelope. The grandmother remarked that times have changed, and nowadays, anyone, regardless of gender, can marry, and the same applies in the spirit world. Hearing this, Wu Minghan insisted that he didn't want to get involved and stated he wanted to leave, placing the red envelope back down. Just then, Lin Shiqing called him over, but before he could walk away from the group of grandmothers, one of them warned him that anyone who picks up a red envelope and refuses to marry will face misfortune for life. Wu Minghan dismissed the warning, confidently stating that as a police officer, he was not afraid of such things, and turned to walk away. However, when he returned to the office, he was surprised to find a red envelope placed on his desk. He pretended not to care and crumpled the envelope before tossing it into the trash. At that moment, housekeeper came to collect the trash. After a while, the officer walked over to tell him that this coming Saturday would be the wedding of the deputy, so he put money in a red envelope to ask Wu Minghan to deliver it instead. Upon hearing this, Wu Minghan realized that the red envelope on the table was actually the money from the officer meant to be delivered. Knowing this, he ran after the housekeeper, but it was his bad luck because the garbage truck had already come to collect the trash. While Wu Minghan was chasing the garbage truck, he faced many obstacles and almost got hit by a car, leaving him battered and bruised. As if that wasn't enough, When he returned to the office, he was ordered by his superior to be stationed at the police station because the young man he had thrown to the ground was the son of a powerful figure. After being stationed at the police station, Wu Minghan encountered strange events when an elderly guest warned him that someone was following him. He also faced a near-death experience when he accidentally stood with a loaded gun before hearing the grandmother's voice in his head saying, "Do you see now? Whatever is destined cannot be avoided." This near-death incident led Wu Minghan to decide to return to the grandmother to perform the wedding ceremony with the ghost, hoping to rid himself of his bad luck. On the wedding day, many relatives and friends of the grandmother came to congratulate her. The grandmother spoke with Wu Minghan and revealed that the ghost he was marrying was Mao Mao, her granddaughter. She showed him a picture of Mao Mao, still grieving and crying over her untimely death, as they had loved each other deeply. The grandmother told Wu Minghan how lucky he was to meet her, as it allowed her to keep her promise to Mao Mao to attend her wedding. However, Mao Mao's father, who walked in and saw the wedding, seemed to disapprove of the grandmother's actions. Despite this, the wedding ceremony continued and was completed, with Wu Minghan marrying the ghost Mao Mao perfectly. After that, the grandmother and her friends brought Mao Mao's photo and gravestone to Wu Minghan's house. The officiant of the ceremony stated that he would have to sleep with Mao Mao for 3 days. Once the grandmother and everyone left, Wu Minghan, feeling scared, tried to muster his courage and shouted that he was never afraid of anything. However, while he was taking a shower, he felt a chill down his spine and accidentally dropped the soap. As he bent down to pick it up, Mao Mao appeared before him, looking like a normal person. Seeing this, Wu Minghan tried to shoo her away, telling her to go wherever she wanted. But Mao Mao, hearing this, sat closely on his shoulder, causing him to scream loudly, calling her, "You little ghost." Mao Mao then threatened to give him one more chance to call her either little ghost or miss. Yet, Wu Minghan continued to call her little ghost, prompting Mao Mao to transform into a terrifying ghost and possess Wu Minghan, who was left naked and began dancing in public, bringing him embarrassment. When Mao Mao exited Wu Minghan's body, he screamed in shock. That morning, Wu Minghan went to see the officiant who performed the wedding ceremony, telling him that the ghost had possessed him. The officiant asked how that could be possible, explaining that when a ghost possesses a living person, it can harm the spirit. If the possession lasts too long, it could even cause the spirit to disintegrate completely. Upon hearing this, Wu Minghan thought that perhaps Mao Mao's spirit had already been destroyed. However, he could still see her spirit sitting not far away, but it appeared faint and weak. No matter how much Wu Minghan tried to ask the officiant for a solution, the officiant told him that this was a fate that had been predetermined and could not be resisted. He then revealed that in their past life, Wu Minghan and Mao Mao had a deep relationship, where Wu Minghan was a dog that Mao Mao had kept. The reason the ghost remained in the living world was that she still had attachments here. If Wu Minghan could help Mao Mao let go of her worries, she would be able to reincarnate. This was the only solution for him. Then Ubin, upon returning home, lit incense for Mao Mao, as instructed by the master, believing the scent would help restore Mao Mao's spirit. He apologized to Mao Mao for his harsh words yesterday, and began to address him respectfully. Ubin then asked Mao Mao about his wishes before dying, as he might be the one to help Mao Mao be reborn. Mao Mao clearly stated his desires. He wanted to stop global warming and help polar bears, which seemed difficult for him. Therefore, Mao Mao asked Wu Minghan to participate in monthly donations to an environmental website. He also requested Wu Minghan to collect trash along the beach, just as Mao Mao did when he was alive. His second wish was for Wu Minghan to adopt Mao Mao's dog. However, during this, Wu Minghan was not very willing to fulfill Mao Mao's wishes. But when Mao Mao mentioned that he might help Wu Minghan return to his original position at the headquarters, it changed his perspective. Once Wu Minghan heard that, his attitude changed and he began to fully obey Mao Mao, following all his commands and wishes. Mao Mao's next desire was to have a meal with his grandmother and to delete all the pornographic content on his phone. That afternoon, Wu Minghan fulfilled this request, but before he could delete the content on Mao Mao's phone, he almost exposed himself. That evening, Wu Minghan spoke with Mao Mao's father about the hit-and-run case that led to Mao Mao's death. The father mentioned that the police were not helping to find the perpetrator, claiming that the nearby surveillance cameras were broken, thus closing the case of Mao Mao's fatal accident. However, when Wu Minghan heard that, he tried to defend the police, suggesting that there might not be enough evidence because the police were good people. After Wu Minghan gathered the photos on Mao Mao's phone, he discovered that Mao Mao had a girlfriend named Jia Hao and they were about to get married. However, the memories revealed that Mao Mao's father did not allow him to marry Jia Hao before Mao Mao's life ended that evening due to a car accident. Because of this, Mao Mao told Wu Minghan that after meeting Jia Hao, he would have no worries and would be ready to be reborn. However, Wu Minghan reminded him that he had already helped Mao Mao a lot and should not forget the promise to help him return to his position at the headquarters. Mao Mao acknowledged this, but mentioned that the police headquarters he wanted to return to was filled with corruption. Then, a woman brought Mao Mao to Jia Hao, and before calling her out, Mao Mao asked Wu Minghan to tell Jia Hao not to be sad and to find someone sincere to take care of her. However, when the door opened, it was a man neither of them had seen before, leading Mao Mao to discover that this man was Jia Hao's new boyfriend, or secret partner whom she had been seeing for a long time. Moreover, Jia Hao did not seem to be sad about Mao Mao's death at all. When Mao Mao saw this, he immediately floated away. The woman who followed him out encountered Mao Mao's father by chance in front of Jia Hao's condo and asked him. The father told Wu Minghan that he still hadn't found the person who hit Mao Mao with the car. He then handed over all the information he had along with the phone to Wu Minghan, hoping that he might be the one to close Mao Mao's case before he drove away. The scene flashes back to the night Mao Mao was hit by a car. After feeling disappointed by his father's refusal to let him marry Jia Hao, Mao Mao tries to call Jia Hao, but Jia Hao does not answer, which makes Mao Mao feel even more isolated. He begins to drink alcohol, becoming increasingly intoxicated and crying until, while crossing the street, he is hit by a car and dies. Wu Minghan, having heard Mao Mao's story, decides to check Mao Mao's Instagram story from the night he was hit, but the clip does not show the car's license plate. It only captures the feet of the driver who got out to look and then fled. Wu Minghan then travels to the accident scene and remarks that although the security camera at the spot where Mao Mao was hit is broken, cars nowadays are equipped with cameras. With this in mind, Wu Minghan starts searching for cars parked nearby. Mao Mao also mentions that besides the issue with Jia Hao, the hit-and-run case still haunts him, and he asks Wu Minghan to help close the case. Finally, Wu Minghan obtained a clip from a car parked near where Mao Mao was hit. When they played it, they still couldn't see much, but Wu Minghan noticed two other cars parked nearby. He realized that one of those cars belonged to a suspect involved in illegal activities whom he had previously chased. However, when Wu Minghan went to find the owner of that car, he discovered that the suspect had already been imprisoned and had died in jail after being beaten for speaking out. Although the suspect had become a ghost, they could not communicate with each other. Despite this, there was still one more car parked nearby. When they went to check the owner of the second car, it appeared that the man was connected to a major illegal dealer that the police were also trying to apprehend, making it even more difficult to approach him as they feared he might delete the dashcam footage. The negotiations yielded no results, so they could only watch the owner of the second car from a distance until Wu Minghan encountered Lin Shiking, who was also investigating the case of the second car's owner. Wu Minghan informed her that he was following up on the hit-and-run case for his friend, but she mentioned that their case had already been closed, hadn't it? However, Wu Minghan insisted that he would find the wrongdoer to bring them to justice. The two of them then followed the car of the second suspect, almost getting caught. Based on the information Wu Minghan received, his superior instructed him to join Lin Shiking on a mission to gather evidence to arrest Lin Qiaoyuan, a major illegal dealer. If the mission succeeded, Minghan would be able to return to his original post at the headquarters. However, this mission ultimately failed and fell apart because Lin Qiaoyuan was alerted, as if there was a mole within the police organization reporting to him. However, that evening was not entirely wasted, as Wu Minghan obtained a clip from the dashcam of the car, which revealed to him that the person who hit and killed Mao Mao was the same individual as the major illegal dealer, Lin Qiaoyuan. Then the woman brought the clip to Lin Shiking, leading her to believe that someone was secretly connected with drug traffickers. He told her to use the clip to arrest Lin Qiaoyuan for hit and run. Wu Minghan brought this clip to her out of sympathy, as Lin Shiking often faced gossip about not having achievements like the men. After that, the officer gathered the police along with Wu Minghan to immediately pursue Lin Qiaoyuan. But this time, Lin Qiaoyuan managed to escape again, confirming that there is a mole in the police team. Since they couldn't catch anyone, Wu Minghan had to return to his post at the station. Additionally, after Wu Minghan made 2 mistakes at work, he argued with Mao Mao, blaming each other until Wu Minghan made a hurtful remark to Mao Mao, saying that if she could resolve her issues with her father and ex-boyfriend, she would have moved on by now. Not only that, but Wu Minghan also brought Mao Mao's death notice to Jia Hao, which made Mao Mao realize that Jia Hao never wanted to marry her. She mentioned that during their relationship, Mao Mao kept talking about marriage, and she agreed without knowing that Mao Mao was serious, emphasizing that he never wanted to marry her. When Wu Minghan heard this, he became angry on behalf of Mao Mao and punched Jia Hao, asking why he didn't tell her if he didn't love her. Mao Mao then confronted Jia Hao, asking what she did wrong, or if she wasn't good enough. Jia Hao replied that Mao Mao was too good for him, and mentioned that Mao Mao had visited him once before. After learning the truth, Mao Mao sat sadly by the river, and Wu Minghan came to sit beside her, trying to comfort her by asking why she wanted to marry Jia Hao, as he was clearly not the right person. Mao Mao explained that during their relationship, Jia Hao pretended to be happy, and with the introduction of marriage equality laws, she hoped to be with Jia Hao. But it seems like Jia Hao is right in saying that he is the only one who wants to get married. In reality, he just wants something very ordinary. He simply wants someone to share life with and take care of each other until they grow old. If one of them is nearing death, the other will always be by their side. If he could find someone he could truly trust, and that person could trust him in return, he would be satisfied. However, if this is truly his desire, it may never come true. Mao Mao then said goodbye before her spirit floated up into the sky. The next morning, Fa returned to Wu Minghan's house, where it seemed that Mao Mao had already been reborn. Wu Minghan then happily went to work at the police station. Later that same evening, the officer received a call regarding Lin Xiaoyuan. Before the scene shifted to Wu, who felt something strange in his house. When he went to investigate, he encountered Mao Mao again, who returned to provide clues about Lin Xiaoyuan, who was about to escape to Pier 2. Mao Mao also revealed that the officer himself was the hidden traitor. Upon learning this, Wu Minghan rushed to Pier 2 immediately. Earlier, the doctor had only pretended to be reborn. When Wu Minghan arrived at Pier 2, the police who had arrived earlier were already in a shootout with Lin Xiaoyuan's henchmen. The officer managed to sneak inside, and when Wu followed, he found himself held at gunpoint by the officer, who claimed to know that Wu was the hidden traitor. However, a mistake occurred because the information the officer had was actually from Lin Shiking. Soon, it became clear that Lin Shiking was the real traitor, and she ambushed Wu Minghan and the officer, handcuffing them both before allowing Lin Xiaoyuan to escape. However, a plot twist occurred as Lin Shiking planned to take all of Lin Xiaoyuan's money. This was because her mother had died in the past due to drugs obtained from him. She had devised a plan and stabbed her hand to lure Lin Xiaoyuan against the wall before escaping with all the money. Lin Xiaoyuan's henchmen came to his aid before confronting Wu Lin, who was with the officer. Just as Lin Xiaoyuan was about to pull the trigger, Mao Mao possessed Lin Xiaoyuan's body and helped unlock the handcuffs. However, at that moment, the police arrived, causing chaos. Additionally, Mao Mao, who was possessing Lin Xiaoyuan, accidentally shot one of his own henchmen. And in the confusion, Mao Mao's spirit was released from Lin Xiaoyuan's body. This led to a confrontation between Lin Xiaoyuan's henchmen and the police, with Mao Mao assisting Wu Minghan. Wu Minghan urged Mao Mao to stop possessing Lin Xiaoyuan, as it would cause the spirit to shatter. As Mao Mao's spirit weakened, he noticed that Lin Xiaoyuan was aiming a gun at Wu Minghan. However, at that moment, Mao Mao lacked the strength to help, resulting in Wu Minghan being shot. Lin Xiaoyuan was then shot dead by the officer. Wu Minghan, in critical condition, was rushed to the hospital, but the traffic was heavy. If they didn't find a way to clear the road quickly, he might die alongside Mao Mao. During this time, Mao Mao was worried, feeling his spirit weakening. When he saw that Wu Minghan's vital signs had faded before his eyes, he decided to use the remaining spiritual energy to push all the cars blocking the way to the hospital aside, clearing a path for the ambulance carrying Wu Minghan to reach the hospital as quickly as possible. Eventually, Wu Minghan survived. But when he opened his eyes, he saw news on TV about the strange incident where all the drivers on the road had cooperatively moved aside for the ambulance, with reports stating that all the drivers had fainted at that moment. Wu Minghan then encountered Mao Mao's spirit, which was now on the verge of shattering. Wu Minghan's father, upon seeing this, tried to light incense for Mao Mao, but Mao Mao told him it was too late and suggested he should rest instead. At that moment, Mao Mao's father came to visit because the officer had called to inform him about the accident involving Mao Mao and that Wu Minghan had been shot. He expressed his gratitude for the justice brought to Mao Mao and hoped that Mao Mao was thankful in heaven. Hearing this, Wu Minghan told his father that he knew he had argued with Mao Mao about Jiahua, but after Mao Mao was sent to the hospital and passed away, his father never had the chance to speak with him one last time. Wu Minghan then asked his father what he would want to say to Mao Mao if he had the opportunity. Wu Minghan mentioned that Mao Mao could hear him. His father replied that if he could speak to Mao Mao, he would want to apologize, as he had known for a long time that he was the one who caused his son's death. He had disliked seeing Mao Mao love a man, and he didn't want Mao Mao to marry Jiahua because he had seen Jiahua cheating on Mao Mao with another man. On that day, he should have spoken kindly to Mao Mao, but he couldn't bring himself to tell him about Jiahua. Upon hearing this, Mao Mao's spirit shed tears. On the day Wu Minghan saw his father in front of Jiahua's condo, his father was only there to ask for Mao Mao's phone unlock code. He mentioned that if Mao Mao had met Wu Minghan while still alive, he would have been very happy. Wu Minghan then asked his father if he would sit in the groom's seat now, to which his father replied that he would definitely attend the wedding. This was a way to resolve the issues between Mao Mao and his father regarding everything that had happened. Mao Mao entrusted Wu Minghan to tell his father that he was very grateful for showing him what unconditional love is. If there is a next life, he would want to be his father's child again. Hearing this, Wu Minghan's father embraced him tightly, and both the living and the spirit cried together. At that moment, Mao Mao's spirit returned to normal, because he was now able to be reborn. Before Wu Minghan could say the words, "Go to a better place," Mao Mao nodded in response, before the spirit's form slowly dissolved and disappeared. The various events that occurred between Wu Minghan and Mao Mao completely changed Wu Minghan's thoughts and attitudes towards LGBTQ+. Wu Minghan truly became Mao Mao's grandson, and the film came to an end. How is everyone? Mary My Day just got married to a ghost. I secretly think it's a wonderfully dramatic comedy ghost movie. Even though it's not a scary ghost that haunts, brings an indescribable warmth to the heart. Additionally, the film's content makes one feel open to the term LGBTQ+. What do you friends think? Don't forget to comment and share your thoughts. The only motivation that drives us to work is finance. Please remember that there is nothing we can't do. This is Sport1923, and I have to take my leave now. See you in the next clip. For today, goodbye once again.